there, and it's hard. The only way you become a winning program is by winning, and he's slowly but surely, you can feel it. You can feel that culture changing. Already 4 Big East wins. Doing just a great job. One of the great guys in the business, too. No doubt.
He talked about closing the competitive gap. And even in their losses this year, they've been pretty tight, even against the best teams in the league.
Totally agree.
Xavier looking for offensive rhythm to start. DePaul's defended well, only 5 to shoot. Borovichinen getting to his spot, fading. That's a shot DePaul will take. Out of bounds, it'll stay with Xavier.
I really do like how DePaul started this game, locked in, just in terms of a scouting report. Playing hard, good effort off of Cruz McClure, but got to get Trey Carroll something in the paint. He settled for 2 tough threes. I want to see him get into the lane and make something happen, especially here with Macklin on him. Now he gets switched.
Still scoreless for one of the best in the Big East. That push floater, and he's on the board.
Yeah, just sometimes when you're on such a roll scoring, you settle. You know, because you feel like anything you throw out there is going to go in. The first 2 threes he took were kind of tough. Ultimately, Carroll's an inside-out player, so you got to establish the paint.
Quick lob inside. Fabian Flores the catch. 2 came for him. Rotate it. Ball movement around the perimeter. Xavier staying home. 5 of the timer for Brandon Macklin driving.
Bigger games.
At 19 off the bench against Georgetown. Oh, Messina more. Quick trigger 3 from way outside. Borovichinen's there. Playing catch with Milicevic. Hit the underside of the backboard. And now a foul with Flores ripping his 2nd foul.
That's important because does a lot. He's a stat stuffer, and he's their top perimeter defender, too.
One of the most versatile bigs in the country.
Yeah. Late clock again.
It's R.J. Smith. Got to create a fading tough wing 3. Tipped out. Carroll going for it and collects.
Some pretty good defensive possessions from Xavier as well.
Carroll is searching, leaning, and scoring.
Inside out. That's got to be the mentality for Carroll.
He's so efficient with inefficient shots.
Yes.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, those types of shots aren't that easy, and he makes them look easy.
And driving for 2, it is Caleb Banks.
Got overextended. Did Trey Carroll there, and Caleb Banks, I think he's a guy that Banks needs to get back in a rhythm and a groove for DePaul.
Really hasn't played much the last 3 games. Look at Messina Moore go inside. Nearly got a walk. It's Walker who drains a 3. 1-point game.
Very close to being a travel, but big shot for Walker, who's always ready off the bench. Doesn't necessarily take a ton of shots, but he's always in a good frame of mind. He's a veteran, doesn't ride that roller coaster of emotions.
7 for his last 10 from 3. It is Banks. 5 quick ones for Banks.
A talented dude. He had 33 against Florida State last year at Tulane. He can really score.
Up and under. Milicevic left it short. Crowd was ready to explode with that move.
That's 7-2, though, of Flores just contesting and making it tough. That was pretty, though, wasn't it?
It was. A lot of skill between Milicevic and Borovichinen, coming from New Mexico with Richard Pitino.
Yeah, they were role guys at New Mexico, and they're having to be major contributors and scorers here in Cincinnati.
Flores slipping inside and jamming. That was pretty. And a timeout for Richard Pitino and Xavier. Them going inside, and that has carried throughout the first 15 minutes of this game. 23 points for Xavier, 15 minutes in. That is great work from DePaul on this end.
No doubt. Another switch, just switching a lot of these screens.
Walker got it back, rolling out of bounds. Oh no, picked up by blocker.
DePaul's switching has given Xavier some issues.
Smith, quick trigger. And rattles out to Milicevic. How can Xavier counter that switching now?
You gotta figure out the matchup you like, and I like getting the ball inside to Carroll against somebody. But there's other things you can do. You can slip screens to put some doubt in the communication of the switches for DePaul, where you act like you're setting a screen, you dive to the basket. There's a handful of different things you can do, but ultimately against switching defenses, you're going to have to find somebody to win one-on-one more often than not. And I think Carroll's the best suited guy to do that.
Xavier with a couple of poor offensive halves in a row by their standards after getting blown out in the second half by Seton Hall on Wednesday. Has a tough shot that goes late for Brandon Macklin.
Really difficult. Great strength from Macklin. That's over Carroll late in the clock.
Largest lead now for DePaul.
Switch. So here, you take advantage of what you want.
And Flores got the block, staying with right.
Really excellent use of his length for Flores there.
Looking like Mr. Fantastic with that reach.
I'll go Inspector Gadget. That might date me.
A little bit.
A little, okay. That's,
I'm not very familiar.
We'll Google in the break.
Corner three, McClure off the heel. Wright was battling for the box. Thing tells you, okay, DePaul's lost 5 straight on the road. Xavier's been awesome at home. And of course, it's the Blue Demons sharp here in the first half.
You just never know in conference play. DePaul switching these screens has gotten Xavier a little off schedule, haven't been able to settle in at all on this end. And they're an offensive-minded team.
Top scorer in the Big East, Trey Carroll, held to 4 points so far. It'll stay that way.
Just feels like a settle for Trey Carroll. He can make that shot, but he's got the smaller blocker on him. Take your time, get him closer to the basket, see if he can draw a foul.
Here's a steal for Anderson. Lob it up. And Borovichinen did well to catch it. Looking for a mid-range. Anderson, no. There was a lid on the rim for Xavier. A scoring drought of 4 minutes.
And Chris Holtman's done a good job of slowing it down. Having DePaul walk it up in certain instances and really execute just to slow the pace down a little bit.
Gunn, tough step back and got it. C.J. Gunn can make that pretty consistently.
You're right. It's arguably his best shot as a contested mid-range jumper.
Takes about 3 mid-range shots a game. Believe it or not, that is really high up there in college basketball. As Carroll hits one tough on the baseline.
Well, one thing I'll promise you is he's not going to stop shooting. He's going to keep on being aggressive. It doesn't matter where he's at. That's what his role is on this team.
Gunn looking at the mismatch, head down and lost it. Back to Xavier. Coming up, the Chief Halftime Report. Rob Stone, Casey Jacobson, and Seth Davis previewing tonight's matchup between number 2 UConn and Creighton. 8 p.m. on Fox.
And speaking of Coaches vs. Cancer, it's the annual Creighton Pink Out tonight. One of the coolest events in all of college basketball.
There's Trey Carroll.
Yeah. Got everybody lifted up the floor and get Carroll rolling. No one around the hoop. A couple of baskets for Xavier's top scorer.
A little bit of life here at the end of the half. Blocker backing down, turning, no. It looked like it was going to Carroll. Pierre Justin for 3. DePaul could have wasted a little bit more clock there. And a foul.
Kind of token, just turn guys a few times, put a thought in their head.
At least waste some clock, if anything, in the shot clock. Flores switches sides. Here's Macklin. Carroll defending. Going inside for Flores on Carroll. Looking for the left, going right and scoring.
Wow, that is pretty. This kid is going to be good. Just scratching the surface. What a find from Spain. And that is some good footwork and some soft hands.
He was added in September.
Yes.
This was supposed to be a developmental redshirt year, but the waiver comes in late. Ruled eligible in November. It's been a nice piece off the bench. Carroll with an air ball out of bounds to DePaul.
Yeah, you said it. Not only did that waiver come, but also Flores turned heads right when he arrived. Hey, listen, this kid's got size. He's better than I think the coaches anticipated him being. And he's been a valuable piece. He's a different kind of a 5 than Benson. He's taller and a little longer. This guy's going to be a really, really good player for Chris Holtmann.
Any mobile 7-2 player is certainly going to turn heads.
I agree.
Right when he shows up.
Yeah, you're also going to lift your head up to see how tall he is.
That's right. Blocker with the handles, going to the short corner and banking it home.
Tough.
Chris Holtmann wanted to see him lead a team, make the right plays at the right times. That's the next step for him, and he's done that all day.
Yeah, that's being a point guard.
As Carroll gets fouled this time.